Welcome back. All right, so I watched Smackdown tonight. Figured I would talk about it with all you fine people on the internet. It is still July the 21st, first and all that. First. Now, to start off tonight's show, they did what you got to do. They had a tribute for Hulk Hogan, nice long tribute, about 10 minutes. They had the 10-bell salute before that long video tribute followed, and it went through his whole career. I'm not going to be doing a video specifically on Hulk Hogan soon. Eventually, I'll be doing career videos on wrestlers. Wrestlers, it's a little bit different than doing that with hockey players because wrestlers' careers tend to go through like indies, various leagues, and all that. And I can't just do the WWE portion of a wrestler's career the way I can do just the NHL portion of a hockey player's career. It's a very different thing. So they're selling off some merchandise. And the proceeds from those sales go to Hulk Hogan's family. So that's a nice gesture by the WWE, by Paul Levesque / Triple H, who was prominent on this show tonight as a result of the passing of Hulk Hogan. So I thought they did it well. I thought it was tasteful. Now, tonight's show starts with Logan Paul coming to the ring to talk about the match I have absolutely zero interest in. The only thing that I wonder is Randy Orton going to turn heel at the end of this tag match? There's just something in the back of my mind that I'm thinking, you've got Jelly Roll and he's a celebrity, and so if Logan Paul gets the win, could Randy Orton in frustration drop Jelly Roll with an RKO? Could we see that? So we see Jelly Roll interrupt Logan Paul while he's in the ring. Drew McIntyre comes out to make it 2-on-1. And Jelly Roll's like, I didn't come by myself. Here, Randy Orton's coming. And here's the funny thing with wrestling. Yeah, they had a lot of time to beat up Jelly Roll before Randy Orton got to the ring. They didn't. I will say this for Jelly Roll. That was a pretty nice black hole slam that he hit. The old Abyss move. And I love that move a lot. So that was nice to see him execute that. So at the very least, he has been learning. It's not... He made it look easy. I don't think it's that easy a move to actually execute and put a guy down flat on his back in the ring and not hurt him with it. Then they had a hype video for Andrade and Rey Fenix. I do think they're building them up to be the next tag team champions. I'm not sure how long they'll be tag champions. I'm surprised they haven't put the Lucha Brothers together, to be honest, and just have Andrade in the singles scene. But I get the feeling they don't know what to do with Andrade, and this is the first thing they've found that kind of works. So I do think they'll win the tag titles, and then we'll see what kind of tag team champions they make from there. I do feel bad for Fraxium. Fraxium was so dominant in NXT, and it looks like they're kind of just another tag team on SmackDown, so there's that. Then they had Alexa Bliss versus Roxanne Perez. You get the shenanigans outside the ring. Alexa decides to jump on Raquel, who's fighting with Charlotte at ringside, and that allows Roxanne Perez to win via a roll-up. It does feel like with Roxanne, what they're setting up is that eventually we're going to see Liv Morgan come back, and it's going to be very similar to when Rhea came back and beat the hell out of Liv. I could see Liv coming back and beating the hell out of Roxanne Perez. That being said, Roxanne Perez is the future of the women's division. She is absolutely fantastic in the ring. She has the look. She has the talent. She can talk on the mic. She's fantastic. The only concern I would have is she's smaller in stature than most of the other ladies in the division right now, but Alexa Bliss made it work 10 years ago. I think she can make it work now. Can Roxanne. Chelsea's interviewed by Kathy Kelly. I have to say, Chelsea Green is so funny. She starts this whole promo and she's talking about Jade Cargill, and she's bad-mouthing her. Jade's behind her, and you can hear Chelsea quietly whispering, "She's behind me, isn't she?" I thought it was great. I thought it was that was absolutely amazing, because wrestlers never know when there was a wrestler right behind them, even when the crowd's yelling at them, he's behind you. They just stand there, they look in the other direction, and then they get beat up. So it was nice to see a wrestler realize somebody was behind him. So kudos to Chelsea. So Jade chases her to the ring. Referee comes out. We get Jade Cargill versus Chelsea Green. Jade hits the Jaded for the win. Of course, then the Secret Service comes in to attack, and Tiffany Stratton makes the save. I still think Tiffany's going to do the heel turn as well. I get that feeling. Maybe we'll see multiple heel turns at SummerSlam. I don't think so. I don't think we see Orton turn heel. I think I'm just dream booking that. But I could see Stratton losing the title to Jade and attacking her after the match. I could see that. One of them has to turn heel between Jade and Tiffany, and I still think Tiffany's just a natural heel. So then they have Cody with an in-ring promo, because of course he's got to hype up the match with Cena. I do feel bad for Cody, once again, being in a kind of an argument with himself kind of situation where the other wrestler is not involved. We went through that with The Rock. We're going through that with Cena again. This is one of the reasons why part-timers, I have issue with part-timers getting big spots and everything. I commented on that during Roman Reigns' long run with the title where he wasn't around that often. And I understand it makes it seem more special when they're around, but in the meantime, everybody's fighting with a ghost. There's nobody there to actually argue with. They then had a recap of the Solo Sikoa Jacob Fatu angle from last week. Fatu has a promo then that's interrupted by The Miz. The Miz got a nice reaction, I have to say, after being off for a while. And then Fatu has a fight with The Miz. So the backstage segments led to matches tonight in a couple of cases. So, of course, Solo and his MFTs come out, his family tree, during the match. I don't know why they changed it from Bloodline. I don't understand how it's different than the Bloodline. I know he's explained it, but it just... Bloodline was a cool name. MFTs? No. It's like 5 years late for having something called an MFT. But anyways, so they dragged Miz out, and there was no DQ called there. I didn't know you could do that. I didn't know that during a match you could just reach into the ring, drag a guy out of the ring, and the referee just goes, cool, that's interference, but no DQ. Of course, the WWE now, they'll just decide mid-match, well, this doesn't have a disqualification. Since when? So Jacob Fatu then gets the win. He gets beat up. Jimmy Uso comes out with a chair, so Talatonga ends him. Fatu fights all four, and then Talatonga with a clothesline to end that. So I do think Jacob wins back the title. I don't know if he wins it soon. I feel like they're setting up a fight between him and the former Hikuleo. I think that's what they're setting up. And maybe you leave the title on Solo for a while. One thing with Jacob Fatu now is getting the kind of reactions that I think you have to jump on. You kind of have to give him the title. I think at some point soon they're going to be stuck where he has to win the world title, and I'm not sure how they're going to handle that. But I don't think it's too far off for basically Fatu has to be put in the main event picture and given a shot at the world title. And honestly, if Fatu was the one to take the title off Cena, right? So anyway, it's not going to happen, but I'm dream booking again, so just pay him no mind. The Street Profits and B-Fab are interviewed by Kathy Kelly. DIY comes out and interrupts. I have to say it's nice to see Candice LeRae have a purpose, even if it's just to be at Johnny's side. And Johnny Gargano comes out, that is his wife, and I think that's Candice's... It's where she seems most comfortable. I honestly think that's where she's most comfortable, is with the two of them, even though it seems like they're setting up the breakup again. But if we get a fight between the members of DIY again, like that feud was the best feud I think NXT's ever had. It went on forever, but it worked. And so maybe we're going to get that again on the main roster, and you'll have a lot of fans that may not remember the NXT feud that would be surprised yet again. I think if they fight with each other, it's just going to be fantastic. So Julia's backstage with Zelina Vega, and now Julia's got a manager, Kiana James, coming up from NXT. So that tells me that Julia's English is still not fantastic, so you want to get a mouthpiece for her. Stephanie Vaquera, I guess, is a little bit ahead of her in that category. Also, with Julia, it gets her over a bit more as a heel if she has a manager who's also a wrestler and can cheat here and there. So the rematch between the two of them is next week. I don't see Julia losing the title. Julia, they have to leave the title on her for a while. I think she's a good champion. They've needed that with the U.S. title. I think Chelsea Green was a good champ too, but she wasn't really treated like champion. She was always treated like, the joke, the funny part of the show. She does that very, very well. I don't think she has a problem with it, but you need like a champion who's really going to add gravitas to the title. I think Julia can do that. Then they had Wyatt 6 against Andrade and Rey Fenix, and Nikki Cross ends up pulling out the ref for the disqualification. I've seen refs pulled out of the ring and no DQ called. I've seen it. It's happened. I know my eyeballs have seen it before. But at any rate, and then Eric Rowan with a beat down. Fraxium comes out. I put Fraxian, but you guys know I mean Fraxium. The Motor City Machine Guns come out. Street Profits, DIY, and the useless security guys come out at that point to stand around and look at everybody. And so Nick Aldis makes a match that I'm going to be honest, I'm excited. I should have figured out this is where it was going, but I haven't been reading the rag mags or anything. I didn't see or hear anything, but we're getting a TLC match for the tag belts. I am happy about that. We need a TLC match. So while I'm not happy with the booking for the Wyatt Six, which sounds weird because they're tag champs, but I really think WWE's dropped the ball with the Wyatt Six. If you're not going to make them seem like they're a big threat, and it just, I know they have the belts, but it just doesn't feel, I don't know. It reminds me of the Wyatt family, how they were never really put over as the big threat either. So we'll see what happens. I think Andrade and Rey Fenix win it. I'd be very surprised if the Wyatt Six hold the titles. And hopefully this is a sign that what we're seeing with these tag teams, we're going to see more of that. I've seen criticism too online of how the Motor City Machine Guns have been booked since losing the belts. And understanding that, yeah, in AEW, they probably would have been booked stronger. They probably would have had the titles for longer in AEW. But they probably make more money, and there's probably more security with the WWE contract than an AEW one. Either way, I don't think Motor City Machine Guns necessarily regret the decision to go there. And I hope that they're able to really knock it out of the park in this TLC match. There are some really good wrestlers in this match. So I expect a very, very good TLC match. It'll be a spot fest, but that's understandable and understood when it comes to a TLC match. And some of the best matches I've ever watched have been TLC matches. So, or just ladder matches. Initially, when Nick was announcing it, I was like, maybe ladder? Because he said they'll be suspended above the ring. And I thought, ladder? Oh, no, TLC. And then he said TLC. So we'll see how it goes. Let me know your thoughts. Did you enjoy SmackDown? Did you not? Hit like and subscribe in the event you may not have done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. It's greatly appreciated. I will talk to you again soon.